Hi everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Cee Natural with me, your host, Courtney Wilds. Thank you so much for being here today. We have a great show in store for you today. Today is the second half of our two-parter. Last week was what opera singers do to gain experience in performing, and today is what opera singers do to gain experience in opera. So this is going to be a fun show, and I've got a great a couple stories actually, to share with you. So I hope you enjoy them. But of course, before we get started, I have to know, how was your weekend? Did you do something fun? Did you hang out with family and friends? For me, this past weekend was absolutely fabulous. I belong to an organization called The Drifters, not the singing group. It's called the National Drifters. My chapter is called the Ocean Drifters. And we were able to get together, my chapter, for the first time in a year to do an in-person meeting. So it was really, really exciting and fun and great to see everybody, and everyone had an absolutely wonderful time. So I had a great weekend. I hope you had a great weekend. And now let's go ahead and get started with our show. So, as promised, this is the second half of what we do for experience, we opera singers. And basically, there are two places that we can go to gain experience singing operatic roles before we get to a level where we are paid a living wage, the fun part. One is called a pay to sing, and the other one is called a no pay, no fee. Now, the pay to sing companies, these are actual companies. They're usually either run by singers, or sometimes they're run by conductors or pianists. And what they do is they give the singer an opportunity to sing a role from beginning to end, so cover to cover, everything in between, in a pretty safe environment. So you learn the role, and then you get to actually perform the role, usually a few times. The second kind of place where you can get a lot of experience, it's kind of experience you can put on your resume, is working in a no pay, no fee. These are professional level opera companies. Think of it like community theater, and you don't pay them, but they don't pay you. So basically what you're getting is the opportunity of the experience. And in these performances, they're usually fully staged, they're costumed, and they have an orchestra or a chamber orchestra or a number of instruments to help to accompany the singer. So this is really a great place to kind of cut your teeth on a role, to be able to present it to a regional opera company or even bigger, depending on where you are in your career. So my story today centers around a no pay, no fee company. I am mentioning no names to protect the innocent. But I do have a story for you. So I'm quite sure you're familiar with you probably heard of the Broadway play Aida. Well, Aida comes from an opera of the same name. It's called Aida. It's written by Giuseppe Verdi, and Aida happens to be one of the roles that I sing. It was made really famous, I guess, mostly, I guess, by Leontine Price. So if you're familiar with Leontine Price, she was most closely associated with the role when she was in the middle of her career. So Aida is a big role. It's not something that you can just jump up and do. You need to work on it a lot. It has huge orchestration. It also has a ton of people on the stage at one time that you have to be able to sing over. So it's definitely not the kind of show that you want to just jump into. So a number of years ago, I wanted to have the experience of singing Aida. I actually did 2 pay to sings just to prepare to be able to do something more grand. And I got an opportunity to do Aida Aida with a no pay, no fee opera company. And so two very interesting things happened. Overall, I had a really great experience. It was, it was great to get on stage. It was great to really be able to feel the role and to be into it and everything. But of course, everything has its mishaps. So I'm playing the title role. I'm playing Aida. So what does that mean? That means that I am the one that people are coming to see, right? So obviously that also means that when it comes to costuming, that I should have a great, beautiful, wonderful costume. So it is time for the costumer to come. She had taken measurements early on and she came back. She had all the costumes and I am too excited. I cannot wait to see my costume, especially because I saw the costumes for the guys that were playing the soldiers. I saw the costume for the king. I saw the costume for Radames, who is Aida's love interest. I saw the costume for Amneris, who's the Egyptian princess. It's kind of, the rival of Aida for Radames' affections. So I'm saying to myself, oh my gosh, I know my costume is hot. I can't not wait to see it. So finally, they call me, Courtney, we're ready for you. I'm like, excited. And when I go over to the area where the costumer is, I see that the clothing rack does not have any costumes or what seemed like costumes on it. There was just a hanger with this white slip, sitting, what looked like a slip to me, hanging on the clothing rack. So, I kind of saw it, put it out of my mind, went over to her, and I'm thinking, well, my costume must be in the back. Well, needless to say, I get over there and the costumer is all excited. Oh, I've got your costume. You're going to love it. Blah, blah. Oh, okay. And she takes the slip off of the rack and gives it to me and proceeds to tell me that, oh, here's your costume. Now, let me describe this costume to you, okay? Think of it as having kind of a tank top, okay, sleeveless tank top and straight and white and a very see-through material with some kind of gold looking rope to tie around it. Now I'm looking at costumes. Now think, Cleopatra, think the Ten Commandments. Think some really fabulous costumes that actually look like they went out and rented those costumes for everybody else. But yet somehow I ended up with what amounted to a slip. So when she presented it to me, I'll be honest, I probably was not very tactful with the look on my face. I'm quite sure I was just like, are you serious? That's probably the look I had on my face. And she looks at me and she goes, is everything okay? And I was like, well, I'm a little surprised that this is, my costume. I am the lead and so the woman looks at me and she says, well, Aida is a slave. And I look back at her and I am quite sure you can imagine what is starting to go through my mind, because I'm saying she is a servant of the princess of Egypt in 500 BC. She is not a slave on a plantation in 1730 whatever, lady. Oh my gosh. I could not believe it. I couldn't believe it. I was speechless. And so I said to her, I was like, okay, well, thank you. And I said, you can just leave it on the rack. We're still rehearsing. I'll come and get it later. Well, needless to say, the thing stayed on the rack So I'm driving home. I'm calling my mother. I'm like freaking out. Ma, oh my God, they don't have a costume for me. You should see what they gave me. Oh my God. I'm just completely freaked out. And my mom's like, okay, calm down. We'll find something for you. So I was able to find what amounted to like this gold silk jumper. It was long, went to the floor. I was able to wear a little top with it. And I got some gold braid that we were able to line the gold jumper with. I mean, let me tell you, it was gorgeous. Really, it was very simple, but it was beautiful. And so here it is, the day of our first performance. And, I finished getting dressed. They call places and the costumer is backstage. And I guess she's, checking everyone over. And I walk in and she looks at me and her mouth drops open. And she says to me, where did you get that? And I looked at her and I said, my closet. And she goes, well, that's beautiful. That's very pretty. Like she was outraged that I didn't wear the slip that she had chosen for me. I was like, oh my gosh, this woman's a nut job. Like, what made you think anyone would wear a white slip? And let me tell you, when I say see-through, you really could see through it. I mean, I would have literally had to wear other clothes underneath it. So I was just, I couldn't believe it. So there I am with, my no pay, no fee. Now, unfortunately, there was also one other instance. Now, this didn't happen to me. This is something that happened actually during the actual production itself. This is really funny. So in Aida, there is a ballet scene. One of the things that 17th century opera composers would do is they would put ballets in the middle of the opera. So Aida has a ballet in the middle of it. And usually people will just skip over that, or they'll get like a dancer or two or whatever. But in this particular case, the artistic director had actually called up a dance company and said, hey, we need dancers for the scene. Could you come, bring your dancers, and gave them the music and everything. So he was really excited about it. Hey, he told us the dancers are going to be here, at our next rehearsal. So we're going to rehearse the scene with the dancers and everything. And it happens to be a scene where I'm on stage. So, I was curious. I was like, I happen to love dance. So I said, okay, this is going to be great. So I come into rehearsal the next time we have it. And I, see the usual suspects. But then I see a couple of I'd say older women. I'd say they were in their 70s, between 70 and 80, sitting on the side of the stage. And one of the things that's not uncommon, especially in the no pay, no fee companies, is you'll get patrons. They're giving money to help mount the production, so they will come in and watch a rehearsal. So seeing, these ladies sitting there, and there was about 5 or 6 of them, I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, oh, okay, so they're there. And so we're rehearsing, and it's time for us to get on stage and to do that scene, the scene with the dancers. And so this guy comes out, and he's not exactly young himself. He looks like he's probably 60, really tall, maybe 6'3", 6'4", about as big as a pencil. I mean, he's very thin. And I see these ladies, these gray-haired ladies who have been sitting on the corner. I see them get up and come to the stage. And then it hit me. Oh my gosh, this is the dance company. I was like, oh my God, this is the dance company. Oh my gosh. So they come on stage, and all of us are kind of like, wow, these people are really old. I wonder how this dance is going to go, but hey, they did a nice dance. Everything went well. They did part of it together. And then this guy who I said has got to be the head of the group. He just has to be the head of the group. He's in the center and he does this solo, so he's doing his solo and he's doing these arm things and whatnot. And at the end of the solo, he does these twirls and he's just spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning. And then, he does like the final, presentation or whatever. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, not bad. Okay. So it comes to the dress rehearsal. And of course, the dress rehearsals where you're supposed to have your costumes and everything. Of course, I'm not wearing a costume because we know what happened to my costume. But anyway, so the dance company had their own costumes. And basically what they did, it seems as though they had a piece of material where they cut a hole in the center to like put over your head to make it a tunic like, and then they tied it, with a belt. And so the dancers all had leotards on, and then they had the tunic on top of it. I mean, to be honest with you, it looked really kind of nice. It was very tasteful, especially given their age and everything. But then the guy comes up and he has a tunic, and, it kind of seemed as though he didn't have like a shirt on under it, because you could see, parts of the sides of his chest and whatnot. So he's got it, all tied, and now it's time to, for the dance to start. And so they're all, doing their little movements and, doing the dance and everything. So then it comes to, the guy, for him to do his, big solo in the center. So he's doing his arms and he's doing this and doing that. And then, of course, he's got these big twirls at the end. Well, he starts twirling and his little tunic starts to come up, because you know how material is. If you start swirling, it's going to start rising. And what do we have on under the tunic? Ah! Oh my God, like nothing. The guy is completely nude under the tunic, and he's spinning around, and Mr. Wiggles is there for everybody to see. And I swear to God, it was like Mr. Wiggles was like, hi. Oh my God, so I couldn't believe it. I could not believe what I was seeing. I was just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. This guy has no clothes on. Oh my gosh, he only has his tunic on. Is he crazy? And we're all sitting on stage, everybody's like trying not to look at each other, and we're just, trying to be sick, because it's a dress rehearsal. So you can't stop. You just got to keep going, keep going. And oh my gosh, it was hysterical. It was hysterical. And when that scene was over and we all got off stage, I mean, we were just cracking up. We couldn't believe it. We were like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe this guy is wearing that tunic with zero on underneath, and did not think about the fact that, hello, we could see Christmas and every other holiday, oh my gosh, it was really, really crazy. So needless to say, the artistic director told him, hey dude, you're going to have to put some drawers on after that. So when it came to the performance, he was, he did put some underwear on, but oh my gosh. Oh, what an experience. And I have to be honest, I'm kind of glad those days are over. That was that actually was probably the worst experience I had. The other companies I worked with, things were just great and they went great, but I thought you might enjoy hearing that story. I swear, every time I have an experience, I have a story to tell, right? Well, that's how life is. Well, I hope you enjoyed that one. Well, I hope you enjoyed that story. It was interesting, to say the least. But anyway, now it's time for our song. It's time for me to sing a little bit for you. I decided that today we would sing something that I have always loved ever since I was a kid. I've always been an Elvis Presley fan, and I'm quite sure everybody has it. This song has been covered by all kinds of people, but I thought it might be fun to do this. So this is I Can't Help Falling in Love with You. Enjoy. Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that selection. Well, this is the end of our show. That's all we have for you this week. But before we go, two quick things. First of all, if you have a question or a show idea or something you'd like for us to discuss on the show, please remember to email us at info@wilddivamusic.com. We read every email we get, and we are always open to talking about just about everything. The second thing is, while you're here, click the subscribe button, click that notification bell, and even click that like button. Let us know that you like it. Leave us a comment. We are here for you. And if you hit that subscribe and notification bell, you will be told every time we upload a new video. And you don't want to miss any videos on our YouTube channel. So not just Cee Natural, but any video that we post, you'll get notified about. So that way you won't miss anything. So once again, this is Cee Natural. I'm your host, Courtney Wiles, and thank you so much for joining me today. I can't wait to see you next week. Have a great weekend.